Hey everybody, Kyle Goth here from GoatFilmReviews.com and the Goat Film Reviews YouTube channel. I just got home from a screening of A Different Man, which opens in limited release on September 20th, and I believe opens wide on October 4th. This is the newest film starring Sebastian Stan. It also features Renate Reinsve. I think I'm saying that right. She was from The Worst Person in the World, a really great movie that a lot of people slept on a couple years ago, but it had some Oscar nominations. And also features Adam Pearson, who I'm familiar with from Under the Skin, I think it's called, that Scarlett Johansson sci-fi horror film. So anyway, the film follows Sebastian Stan's character, Edward. He has, I hope I'm saying this right, neurofibromatosis, I think is the name of the condition. And it's a condition that does feature the growths all over one's face. And Adam Pearson in the film actually has this condition. And so Edward is a man who has neurofibromatosis. Again, I think that's what it is. And he's an actor who's basically only getting hired to be in films, like training films and films about people with disfigurements, instead of actually being hired for his personality or what he can bring to the table. So he gets a radical new treatment that may have the ability to cure his neurofibromatosis, and it does. And under all of that is Sebastian Stan, who kind of makes a jump in his career. He becomes a different kind of person, becomes, he becomes more outgoing because he's not hindered by this. But at the same time, he wants to act still. And he finds an actual play in which the main character has neurofibromatosis, but he can't get in it now because he doesn't have it anymore. And so he finds that this other person, Oswald, played by Adam Pearson, is taking his film roles, and it causes him to go off the deep end a little bit. This is a great character piece. I really enjoyed Sebastian Stan, this lead performance, and I think I'm ready to admit as well, I've been sleeping on Sebastian Stan. I know he's a great actor, and when he pops up in movies, I get excited. But I don't think we as a society are not appreciating Sebastian Stan in a way that I think he deserves. His performance in this movie is amazing. I think it's one of the best performances of the year. I hope that he is going to get Oscar consideration for it, although I don't know if this movie is going to be in that discussion as I believe it should be. Renate Reinsve is really good as well. Doesn't have as much to do in the film, but I think she uplifts the film. And I think for the two portions, kind of the treatment, post-treatment portions, she kind of makes her own distinct character movements as Edward's neighbor and I guess his love interest, at least to him. And then you have Oswald, played by Adam Pearson. Again, Pearson didn't do a lot in Under the Skin. I know he was in the director's previous film, Chained for Life, but I did not see that one. Pearson is really solid as well. And I think for someone who has so few credits, I think he's got a real good energy to him when he's on screen. I like that he is a performer who has a different look and who is using that to kind of shine the light, because this movie is a very satirical black comedy, and in some ways it's kind of hard to watch at times purely because of the treatment that people have towards Edward and towards Oswald, or the different treatments in that, and the treatment that Edward has towards Oswald after he has his procedure done. And so it's hard to watch at times because it's hard. I have a lot of trouble seeing like that satirical edge, that black comedy kind of used against someone, punching down in some ways in order to kind of punch up at the very people who do it. So it's kind of that reverse thing. I made a comparison as I was leaving the theater to Blazing Saddles, which also felt like it's a movie that if you're not in on the joke, if you're not seeing what the movie is doing, it's going to seem incredibly offensive to you. But if you see what Mel Brooks is doing in Blazing Saddles, he's not punching down, he's punching up. And I think that's the thing that A Different Man does for the most part as well. I don't love where the movie ends. I think there are some character choices in the last act of the film that I don't think work very well. I don't think it's enough to derail the film, and definitely not enough to derail the fantastic performances. But I think the film is very well written for about 90%. And then it seemed like the director just didn't really know where to go with that last 10 minutes, and so made some character choices that I didn't agree with, in the sense that I didn't feel like the characters would have made those choices. You know what I mean? But again, it's still not enough to derail a terrific film and another wonderful hit from A24 that's definitely worth your time. This is a studio that every time they make a movie, love it or hate it, I'm so glad that it's out there in the world. And I do happen to love quite a few of their films. So thank you so much to A24 for inviting me to this press screening of the film. And if you haven't seen A Different Man yet, check it out as soon as it gets to theaters because it is definitely worth your time. And then come on back here and let me know your thoughts on A Different Man and whether or not you think Sebastian Stan has any chance at that Best Actor Oscar nomination. I mean, he's got this film, he's got the one where he plays Trump later on. I mean, and he's still doing Winter Soldier stuff with Thunderbolts. Sebastian Stan, keep being you. We love you. Thank you so much for joining me. You can find all of my film reviews, including there will be a review of A Different Man. I'll be writing it this week while I'm on the road. Check that out at goatfilmreviews.com. You can also find Goat Film Reviews on Facebook. You can follow me personally at Almighty Goatman on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and Threads. And you can find my show Kyle and Nick on Film that I co-host with Nick Plodchuk from the St. Paul Filmcast. We have new episodes of that show every single week. Also down in the link, the description for this video, you can find the Minnesota Film Critics Alliance, of which I'm a member. So you can find other film critics reviews of A Different Man, or just read more of my stuff too. We'll see you over there. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.